We interrupt this program for breaking news from the Global National Newsroom.
Hello, thanks for joining us on TV and on our online platforms. I'm Robin Gill. We're waiting for Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to address Canadians. But let's give you some of the big picture numbers. More than 1,400 people in Canada have died of COVID-19, and the number of confirmed cases has now surpassed 33,000. Today, Ontario is reporting 568 new COVID-19 cases. 39 more people have died. In total now, in Ontario, more than 10,000 people have tested positive. We're expecting updates from the other provinces in the next few hours. But there's another developing story we're watching in Nova Scotia. Police there had been warning of an active shooter in the rural community of Portapique. He's been identified as 51-year-old Gabriel Wortman, and police say he is now in custody. We know there are multiple victims, but police haven't said how many people were wounded or if anyone was killed. We will continue to watch that development. We're also watching to see if the Prime Minister has any comments on that situation. But first, let's bring in Global's Heather Yerkes-West in Calgary. Heather, there's growing concern about an outbreak at an oil sands camp in Alberta. What are you hearing about testing, isolation, anything along those lines?
Yeah, Robin, this is a major concern given the amount of people that are working in this Northern Alberta oil sands camp and how many of them are flying in and out, traveling to not only other parts of Alberta, but other parts of the country. Now, our last official update from the company came Friday. They told us then that there were 12 cases, 2 on site and 10 others off site. Now, since then, we've accessed employee memos to employees and the messaging coming from the company now is that there are additional cases, as many as 4 cases on site and several more in the community, bringing a total to 18 cases now. The company is telling its employees that this week there will be testing available on site, that they hope to have testing available on site for employees, that testing will be voluntary but available to all workers, even if they are from out of province. We've also heard direction now from health authorities outside of Alberta, Saskatchewan Health Authority, the Northern Intertribal Health Authority, and the BC Interior Health Region have all directed workers that are returning from Northern Alberta and specifically from this Curl Lake camp to isolate when they return home. We know that Alberta Health Services has also directed workers to isolate if they are experiencing symptoms or if they've had direct contact with confirmed COVID-19 cases. So this is, of course, a major concern. This is the kind of event that infectious disease specialists say has the potential to be a super spread event because we have so many workers that are working in quite close proximity. They're flying in and out, being on the buses, on the airplane. That's quite close proximity, and of course we know that they are all returning to different parts of the country. A lot of people coming in from as far away as Newfoundland. So this is obviously something that public health officials are watching very carefully. We also know that we can't easily shut these camps down. Oil sands and oil energy production is considered an essential service, and we also know that to shut these projects down safely would actually require more people to come to site than they're operating currently. So it is a very tricky situation.
Heather, there's also an outbreak linked to a meat processing plant in High River. What's happening there?
Yeah, so High River is a community that is just south of Calgary, and they are seeing quite a high number of cases. More than 300 cases in High River and Calgary have all been traced back to this Cargill meat packing plant. Health officials say that they're tracing not only to the plant itself, to the workers, but also a lot of these workers live in homes with quite a few people living in the same home, and so spread is happening within that home. We know that Cargill has taken measures to try and control the spread. They've cut an entire shift But health officials in this province, they've assigned people specifically on this case to help with contact tracing and isolation, because this is another workplace event that has the potential to spread very rapidly, and health officials really want to get on top of this before any more people get sick. High River is, of course, a small community, so there's a lot of people on edge there, given that there's so many cases in quite a small community, with a lot of them being traced back to this meat packing plant.
There are obviously questions about food safety. What are health inspectors saying about that? What's the company saying about that?
Yeah, so we know that and health officials have been saying that this isn't something that is a foodborne illness. They're trying to assure everyone that there's a lot of cleaning protocols happening. So this isn't something that people should be concerned about, if they're consuming meat. But there are concerns that we might see a bit of an interruption to food supply. And this isn't the only meat packing plant that is experiencing interruptions because of COVID-19. We're seeing this happen kind of across the country.